tradition continues in Detroit, and with the exception of a break during World War II, the Lions have hosted a professional football game on this day every year since 1934. Case Keenum has thrown for 872 yards and 7 touchdowns in his last 3 contests. He'll try to stay hot today as his Vikings look to get a stranglehold on the NFC North. And of course, he'll be facing Matt Stafford, who's thrown 13 touchdowns in his last 5 Thanksgiving games. He has a special look at the resurgence in Detroit later in the show. All the holiday action starts right now on Fox NFL Kickoff.
Welcome, my football family. This time of year is about coming together, no matter your differences, right, Ben?
Preaching to the choir, my friend.
Yeah, we get it. We're friends now, remember?
Friend? I don't know, but friends. Well, acquaintances or... By the way, how are you even here? Aren't you supposed to be...
Wouldn't you like to know?
Like I was saying, it's a joyous time. We've got 3 matchups today, starting with the Vikings and the Lions on Fox.
And from what I hear, the Vikings' defense is made of steel.
Actually, according to my bat computer, you'd be a turkey to pick against Stafford's Lions this Thanksgiving.
You know that's not a bat computer.
It's an Etch-a-Sketch.
Why do you have to kill my dreams, guys?
Well, speaking of dreamy, later this afternoon, we have the Cowboys and the Chargers.
If this game were in L.A., it would still be a home game for the Cowboys.
Actually, I think we can all agree on that.
I've decided to agree as well. Let's keep this friendship rolling. How about that big NFC East matchup tonight?
All I can say is the Giants are bigger pretenders than Clark Kent, and the world is all out of phone booths.
You do realize that preaching about your football knowledge is basically my kryptonite.
As someone with no weakness or fear, I hadn't noticed.
You sound a little hoarse there. Would you like a lozenge?
Yes, thank you.
Well,
Much better.
this has gone better than I could have ever expected. I guess there really is justice in the world.
All right, we're done
That's
here.
enough.
We're done? Okay.
Happy holidays.
What, I can't make one pun?
No, not that one.
About justice?
Welcome to Fox NFL Kickoff, presented by IBM. You to the power of IBM.
Hope you're hungry for some football, America, because the NFL is serving up a feast with a big NFC East contest tonight between the Giants and the Redskins. And prior to that, the Cowboys look to get things back on track when they face the suddenly electric Chargers. But first, we whet that appetite with the most satisfying matchup of the day. Hope you're following all these puns. Matt Stafford's Lions serve as ungracious holiday hosts to the Vikings in that huge NFC North battle. Welcome, everybody, to Fox NFL Kickoff, presented by IBM. Our thanks to the cast of Justice League for kicking us off on this holiday. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. You can catch that movie in theaters everywhere now. I'm Carissa Thompson. He's Tony Gonzalez. Mike Vick, the coach, and Colin Coward. We're happy to be here with you guys today. NFL football, of course, on Thanksgiving is definitely a holiday tradition. You guys have participated in some of these games. Tony, what makes today so different?
Well, I mean, first of all, everybody is watching because everybody's getting ready for the big feast. And I remember back in my day when I played on Thanksgiving, back in my day, I was part of history, guys, right here, because I played the first primetime game on Thanksgiving night. No, it's not back in the 90s. Mike, you're almost as old as me. But I remember this game. We won the game, first of all, most importantly. I had 4 catches, 4 for 4.
Well, yeah, why didn't they go to you more if you were 4 for 4?
That's what I'm telling you right now. I don't understand it. Why couldn't they throw me the ball more? If it's 4 for 4, I could have 10 catches.
If only you were a better tight end.
Yeah, no kidding.
Should have been better. I mean, I have some vivid memories, too. Aside from playing on the biggest stage and one of the biggest stages in football, I had a great time on this day, too. I threw 2 touchdown passes to Algie Crumpler, worked extremely hard to get the MVP player of the game and thought I would have a chance to eat the turkey at the end and have the turkey leg or the turkey chop or whatever it is, and I end up getting the Galloping Gobbler Award. I don't know what that
By
award
the way, you can blame Fox
but it was
for
a
that.
big
That's
disappointment. It was a big disappointment. I worked my entire life to eat that piece of turkey on TV with my teammates, and I got the Galloping Gobbler. I don't know where that came from.
Where's that award at? Did you bring that with you?
Nah, man. It's at home. I didn't disown it.
The Galloping Gobbler.
Mine would be when I was head coach of the Dolphins and we played the Cowboys. So you're playing in Dallas on Thanksgiving Day. It doesn't get any better than that. We were 7-4. They were 8-3. Bill Parcells, Mike Zimmer, #1 defense. We went down there and scored a bunch of points and defensively came up with 5 turnovers. Jason Taylor himself scores a touchdown. Great win. And you guys know this. That turkey turkey tastes a lot better after a win.
I remember your offense that day. I don't remember your defense
Ricky
at all.
Williams carried it about
These defensive coaches never remember the offense. It's about a fumble in the second quarter.
North Turner did a great job calling plays.
Mike Zimmer's doing a great job. He's got his Vikings team. They have allowed, 17 or fewer points 16 times since the start of 2016, and that includes 7 of their last 8. We'll see if they can do that again today against Detroit, and that's just one of the 3 big matchups this afternoon. So, Tony, what else are you looking for in Week 12?
Now, I'm looking to see if Kirk Cousins can continue to go out there and play. Actually, I'm not. He will continue to play well because the way he's been playing over this season and over the last season, it seems like they're trying to handicap him. They took away his best players. Deshaun Jackson took away Pierre Garçon. This year, Jordan Reed's been out all year. His running game, the offensive line's been big, and he's continued to play outstanding, and they don't want to give him a contract. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what he does at the end of the season because, hey, you don't want to pay me. I'm a free agent now. Denver Broncos look like a good team. I might not stick around. I'm looking to see what Kirk
By the way,
does.
NBA guys do this that are marginal players. Thank you. It's time for these quarterbacks to realize their leverage. Kirk Cousins. Has any team in the NFL had more offensive injuries? Chris Thompson's now hurt. This is what NFL quarterbacks should do. Aaron Rodgers should demand. Get me a defense. Brady has one. I love that idea. I really do.
Yeah, I love the Redskins. I mean, what you guys are saying, and Jay Gruden has done more with less probably than any team in the NFL. And look how they've lost games. I mean, it's not one area. We can go in and say, hey, we got to replace this guy or we got to change this. You know, they fumble a ball against Philadelphia. Philly runs it in, they lose. They lose to Kansas City by a last-second field goal. They got a lead, 2-touchdown lead 3 minutes ago against the Saints, and their defense can't hold up. So, I mean, tough losses. I'm all over the Redskins today.
By the way, 40% of the season's left. We do this in football. We bury teams. If the Chargers win today, they're 5-6. I think they win their division. I really do. The Cowboys are 5-5. Everybody's buried them. They get Ty Smith, left tackle, back today. Sean Lee in 2 weeks. Zeke by the end of the year. If they win today, look at their schedule. They'll be 6-5. The toughest game's Philadelphia, Week 17. Philadelphia may rest starters because they could have a 4-game lead in the division. The season's not over.
Yeah, we wrote off the Saints in Week 4.
Exactly.
Yeah,
we write off the Patriots every year in September. There's 40% of the season left. The winner of the Cowboys-Chargers today, to me, feels like a playoff team going forward.
And even the New York Giants, a team that I want to talk about, I think it starts with Eli Manning. They can continue to play spoiler, continue to go out and play efficient like they did last week. Like you said, there's still a lot of season left. A lot of guys are being evaluated. A lot of talent will come in next year. But they have to continue to take it 1 game at a time and pile on as many wins as they can just so guys can have a future on this team next year.
Yep. Well, for more on the Fox game between the Vikings and the Lions, we're going to go sideline to sideline, brought to you by State Farm. And as I affectionately refer to her as Audrey from Christmas Vacation, Erin Andrews has worked 6 Thanksgiving games. Hello, my darling.
Hello, my love. After today, why don't we get you, Rusty, Cousin Eddie, Aunt Bethany, Snots the dog, and we'll do our own little Thanksgiving on this coming weekend in L.A. Well, let's talk a little Lions and Vikings here. I don't know if you had a chance to go watch Mike Zimmer's press conference this past week about his quarterback, Case Keenum. Do it. Because what he said about Keenum was he has big guts. He's not afraid, and I cleaned it up, of course, not afraid to pull the trigger, which Zim loves. And, of course, Case Keenum saying, you know, he's having a blast. He's been on the other side of things with teams that have lost. He loves the winning. Another guy having a good time on this Vikings team is Adam Thielen, 84 yards shy of 1,000 receiving yards. After you eat today for Thanksgiving, take a minute, go read about this guy. Went to a D2 school, wasn't drafted, wasn't invited to the combine. He actually had a job interview to sell dental equipment before he was invited to the Minnesota Vikings rookie camp. So he's very excited to be playing on Thanksgiving Day and having a great season with the Vikings. Another guy who enjoys a good turkey and a good football game, Matt Stafford. He's won 4 straight on Thanksgiving. His offensive numbers are surging. They look to make it 4 straight against the Vikings today. And, of course, this game could go a long way in determining the NFC North Division winner. You know a guy I'd love to sit next to at Thanksgiving? Cooper Manning. He'd be hilarious. But right now, he's in Oxford, Mississippi with this very special report.
Holy cow, Erin Andrews. I can't believe she even knows my name. This is unbelievable. Finally, something to be thankful for. No offense, son.
None taken, Dad.
Anyway, things are kind of cranking up here. You can smell the aromas in the kitchen. I'm making my famous succotash dish. And
what is succotash?
just because you let me borrow your robe doesn't mean you can talk on my show, so hush. But we're excited. You know, the family's doing kind of what they do best right now, ignore me. But I imagine come lunchtime, they show up. So it should be a fun day.
Well, Hyde, you're clearly the professional in this group. I have to ask, any chance we get a visit from your Uncle Peyton later today?
No way, not a chance. He's with his real papa, Papa John.
Ooh, hi.
That's I like it.
Cheesy.
Did Cooper just come in with a really cheesy line at the end? Why you got to steal your kid's thunder? It was a good joke. You guys, we're going to keep checking back in with you, okay? So you can keep working on your jokes. Deal?
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, good. Here's a look at what else is coming up for you guys later this hour.
Coming up, as Minnesota continues to feast on opponents, we sit down with Adam Thielen to discuss how the Vikings are giving fans in the Twin Cities their just desserts.
Being able to go out there and have fun and, obviously win games this year has been a lot of fun.
Plus, after 2 straight losses, Cowboys fans are hungry for a win. Jimmy Johnson discusses whether there's a reason to be thankful today in Dallas or if their goose is already cooked. And when it comes to their hometown, Lions fans serve up a bounty of pride. A look at the evolution of Detroit and how the resilience of its people has the Motor City rolling once again.
You could put a Detroiter in the middle of a desert. 2 days later, that Detroiter has set up shop, found the water, and he's selling it to you.
All that and more ahead on a special Thanksgiving edition of Fox NFL Kickoff. Presented by IBM.
Fox NFL Kickoff is sponsored by IBM. You to the power of IBM.
Glad you're with us and happy Thanksgiving Day.
It is a great honor to be part of this game.
He ran right to the back of Brandon Moore, fumbled the ball. Are you kidding me? He said head, it is a tail. I wish he said tail.
Randy Moss just outruns everybody. He is incredible.
Turducken is a deboned duck stuffed in a deboned chicken stuffed in a deboned turkey.
Cowboys will win.
Wait a minute. It's Leon left.
With that, we welcome in Jimmy. Jimmy, I know you're not very thankful for just showing that clip. You probably, don't always want to talk about that.
Jerry had his hand in the touchdown.
The funny thing about it is, as soon as the game was over, I go in the dressing room and Leon Lett was there on the train table just crying his eyes out, and everybody thought I was going to cut him. I said, Leon, you're with me as long as I'm coaching the Cowboys. Ironically, that was the last game I ever lost with the Dallas Cowboys. We went ahead and won every game and won the Super Bowl. And Miami did not win another game that year.
Yeah, so who's got the last laugh now?
And you know what's crazy about this? Leon's a coach now, assistant defensive line coach for the Cowboys. What do you think he's telling those defensive linemen?
He said, don't get on special teams.
Well, let's talk about the current Cowboys team. Jay Ajayi of the Eagles accused them of quitting in the second half. Yet you're already rolling your eyes. Do you blame Jason Garrett or the players?
Any team in the league, you take off not only the best player on their team, but one of the best players in the NFL, left tackle Smith, Ezekiel Elliott, Sean Lee, best kicker Don Bailey. I mean, you look at 4 of the best players in the NFL, they're not on their team. That's why they're struggling.
Yeah, and you're, Coach, I agree. And when a team like that, when they fall behind and a little bit of adversity, and I don't know, is it lack of confidence or lack of leadership? I mean, you can twist it any way you want, but I don't see it changing a whole lot until these guys get back on the field. I mean,
wow, look at you guys, huh? Blame the players. I get it. No, it is.
Fire the coach, right?
It's the players.
Okay, well, how can, you mentioned, Smith being out. He doesn't have his running back. How can Dak play better, though, over the last 2 games?
The way he did over the last 2 games, you got to look at it and say, he didn't play that good. But I think for the reasons that coaches are talking about, some of his best players aren't on the field. But I think Jason Garrett's got to be able to make a little bit of adjustments. But going forward, now that he gets his the best left tackle in the NFL back, this is where I'm going to truly evaluate what Dak is and what he brings to the table, because he's been handicapped out there, but now he's got that protection, that blind side, not taking all those hits. I don't care what quarterback you put out there, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, you hit him in the face enough, they're not going to be the same player. So now he's got a little protection. I think he's going to go out there and do fine.
Yeah, the other thing is, where are the explosive plays coming from? No Elliott. So he's got to get something from Dez Bryant. They got to get some explosive plays. 23 drives, they've only scored 1 touchdown.
Yeah, three turnovers.
Well, the proof is in the numbers, Coach.
They need the big play.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Thank you for
everybody.
being here for a look at the Cowboys' opponent this afternoon. We throw it over to Colin.
If Leon Lett was an average player, Jimmy would have cut him on the plane.
I think a lot of teams would have cut him after that game.
Howie Long, the Hall of Famer Mike Vick. Everybody bailed on the Chargers except Howie Long. Even when they...
Jimmy laughed at me.
He did laugh at you. But you liked him, and you liked that defensive front. Why'd you stick with him?
Well, I think they're a really good football team. I like the way they're built. They're two edge rushers, something that very few people have. Right. You look at it, they're 3 and 4 or 3 and 5 in quarterback sacks. They're 1 and 2 in quarterback pressures. I always look at it this way. The sack number can be misleading. It's the pressures. It's the constant hits. Joey Bosa, Ingram, they're a dominant group, and I look for Dallas today. Your fault, my fault, happenstance, coincidence. They're going to go back to run heavy. I don't care if it's gaining 2 yards the first 15 times. We're going to run the ball 30 times, including read option with Dak Prescott.
You know Melvin Ingram.
I mean, speaking of Melvin Ingram, I had a chance to play against him in 2015, and you're talking about a guy who's an absolute game record. Combined with Joey Bosa, I mean, one of the best tandems in the National Football League. I played against Ingram. He was one of the guys that made me contemplate retirement after that game against Pittsburgh. Now, we won the game, but it was tough, and these guys, he really showed that he was one of the marquee defensive ends in the National Football League.
Now, their offense is, you have Keenan Allen on the outside, a little bit of a running game. It's Phillip Rivers. He's played a lot of consecutive games. What stands out to you offensively?
I think the explosive plays. You know, people don't know that they're ranked number 3 in the league in explosive plays and down the field, so that means they're pushing the ball vertical. And look, you never count out Phillip Rivers. He's got Melvin Gordon behind him, Keenan Allen. He got some weapons, so guys who can get it done, this team will stay in contention.
Who thought the division was going to end up the way it is, where San Diego, starting out 0-4, has a shot?
Still having a chance.
I think if they win today, I don't even think you can deny it. They have the most momentum, and they have the most reliable veteran quarterback. Right. I think they win today. They'll play schedule.
Easy schedule. You can start a little faster on offense and play the run better on defense. They're going to have to play the run today.
Carissa?
Thank you very much. Coming up, a family-friendly look at the new celebration rules in the NFL. Plus, Cooper Manning proves once again that he's not afraid of breaking tradition, and how the city of Detroit has fought its way back from disaster against the odds when Fox NFL Kickoff returns. Looking at Detroit, Michigan, home of 22 championships across the 4 major sports. But more recently, this is a city on the rise after facing what other towns might have seen as insurmountable odds. After decades of economic decline, in 2013, Detroit was forced into the largest municipal bankruptcy filing in U.S. history. But in a veritable ghost town of abandoned buildings and businesses, subject to some of the worst public service ratings in the nation, the people did not give up. A community rolled up its sleeves to reverse the decline and save one of the great American cities.
Rebellion cities have never had it easy. Innovative freeways aren't always paved in gold. We wear our DET and hats year-round. Our streets were built to the rhythm of a hand-clap sound. I'm a Detroit lion on Lindenwood, a rebellious tiger on Tireman. We may have abandoned homes, but we are not an abandoned people.
Detroit means a lot to me. When I got here in 2009, you know, if you took a picture, a still shot of the city that day and the still shot of the city today, it looks a whole lot different.
It was really bleak. The city was going through bankruptcy, so it was a pretty desolate situation down here.
We didn't have anything. You know, most of the downtown area just became, I don't know, just blighted. It didn't feel like a city anymore.
There was corruption going on, a lot of vacant lots, you know, in the inner cities.
The inadequacy of city services were the most notable from the sort of residential experience. Ambulance response times were terrifyingly slow. Things were rough.
You know, surprised me, but also gave me something to work to try and fix.
It was said that the last person in Detroit, please turn off the lights. That was the whole thing, man. It was crazy that time. It made you strong, though.
Still breathing east of downtown. America wouldn't be America if not for the Motown sound.
It's incredibly important for new businesses to come into this city and create jobs.
Businesses that are coming to Detroit are absolutely blown away by the talent that's here. Everyone takes a great deal of pride in the work that they're producing.
My business is benefiting directly from that attitude that exists down here.
We have a ton of urban agriculture throughout the city. Residents have taken it upon themselves to start gardening.
You know, this city's filled with a bunch of resilient people, a bunch of blue-collar people, and those are the people that are helping, you know, dig this city out and put it back on the map.
When you couldn't get a job, now you can. Or if you want to live downtown, now you can.
It's exciting to be part of a true renaissance that's happening.
It's the land of the beautiful ugly. This is what we are. If you don't rock with us, we're not worried about it. Detroit versus everybody.
People that are from here, man, they've got a ton of pride.
My heart and mind and soul are dedicated to this city.
If you want me, I will be here.
I've learned to love this city. I've embraced it.
Detroit is home, without question.
I'm a Detroiter. Don't you see that D?
I love being a part of them and representing them as best I can.
I've always been proud of my city.
I'm really thankful that Detroit is coming back. Don't stop.
Maybe you heard of us. We're the people inside the Michigan Hand, indigenous Detroiters, and we love our land. Somebody got to show the young ones how to get up 75. We work in the city, and we are alive, alive, alive.
As they say, it takes a village. So after 4 years of hard work, 2017 finds Detroit with its lowest unemployment rate since 2000. 275 city parks are now fully maintained, and over 100% improvement in EMS response time. An amazing turnaround in just a short amount of time. So, Tony, we've witnessed how different cities can take on the personalities of their sports teams. How have you seen that where you've played?
First of all, that was outstanding. Wasn't that great? Well, I'll tell you what, coaches over here talking about Motown, Detroit, and the history that they represent. It's really good to see that they're getting back on their feet. And I tell you, and sports is a big part of that, too. I remember in Kansas City, we had this thing called Red Friday before the game every Sunday, and the whole city would wear red. And they'd come out and they'd get excited. They'd do pep rallies. And for a professional sport, it just shows you how you can unify a city by around a sports program. And I remember coming out of the tunnel after the game and the fans throwing food at me and having drinks. It was just a good way to enjoy each other.
Yeah, it reminds me, me being from Pittsburgh, a lot like Pittsburgh. Tough, blue-collar, passionate fans. When I coached in the Bears, 6 years, we'd go up there and play. And Minnesota was good, Green Bay was good, but the fans, that 12th man, as we call it, the fans in Detroit are tough to beat.
Yeah, I'm from Seattle, and we've seen that, being from up there, what a difference winning does for that town. Like my nieces and nephews wearing blue to elementary school and stuff like that. So it's awesome to see all the way around. So let's turn our attention back to the field for the second. The Lions are a lot like their city, always fighting that uphill battle, right, with these fourth quarter comebacks and Matt Stafford. So, Mike, what's keeping the offense from being the same at the end that they should be at the beginning? Because it's like at the end of the game, you look at them and you're like, where was this team the whole game?
Yeah, the thing we do know is the same players who in the game are the guys who start the game. So it's really no excuse for, having to come back and win each and every week. You just make your job that much tougher. I think sometimes the Detroit Lions come into the game hoping that they're going to win and not knowing that they're going to win. And it's a big difference. If I was Matthew Stafford, I would go to Jim Caldwell and I would ask him, Coach, what can we do to find a way to start faster? That will make our team so much more better and help out the defense as well.
It's an opportunity, just like the city of Detroit. Matt Stafford deserves every penny he makes. People bristled when he got that highest paid player in the year contract. I said, listen, the guy's worth it. But he doesn't really have a signature win. The Bears have a rookie quarterback, the Packers have a backup, and the Vikings are on their third. This is an opportunity. He doesn't have that signature win. Now, he hasn't had great running games, but Aaron Rodgers hasn't had great defenses. Russell Wilson's running for his life since he broke into this league, offensive lines. This is a real opportunity today and moving forward. This division should be Matt Stafford's because he is easily the best quarterback playing in the
NFL in those fourth quarter comebacks. So that's the offensive side of the ball. Coach, when you look at the defensive side, they've given up over 420-something yards on the ground the last two games. Can this defense hold off the Vikings?
Well, they can. They're not dominant, but they are capable. And, and what helps a defense, an offense that can control the ball some, an offense that doesn't put you behind the 8 ball from the standpoint of you're behind, and now the other team has the advantage. So I think just what you said, Mike, if they can come out and start fast, you know, and kind of make the Vikings today be one-dimensional, where they got to throw the ball, boy, that makes all the difference.
That's how they beat the Vikings the first go-around, with that balanced attack. But they haven't had a 100-yard rusher in 4 years. I mean, it's crazy.
And then you have that, people, you can't underestimate what that means. And you as a quarterback should know that better than anything. A quarterback's best friend is having that running game. We talked about great quarterbacks that have done it with that. I hear what you're saying there. But look at John Elway, okay? He didn't win a Super Bowl until he got Terrell Davis.
That's right.
Okay? And you look at Russell Wilson. They had one of the best defenses in NFL history. He doesn't have it. Stafford doesn't have that. If they can get him that running game, Barry Sanders come out of retirement or something, something's got to give. If they can get that going, he can easily take off and be an elite quarterback in this league.
Speaking of elite, our good buddy Josh Norman and his Redskins are getting ready to host a big Thanksgiving night game against the New York Giants. But that's not the only way Josh is getting into the holiday spirit this year. Through his Stars 24 Foundation, Josh has teamed up with the Boys and Girls Clubs of America to help the children of Puerto Rico affected by Hurricane Maria.
And my heart goes out to everyone over there, but especially the kids who need our help the most. Stars 24 is donating $50,000 to the efforts, and I'm asking you to help us reach our full potential and our goal of $250,000.
Josh's efforts will directly impact the rebuilding of the Boys and Girls Clubs of Puerto Rico and their facilities across the territory, providing children of all ages a safe and creative place to thrive. Go to greatfutures.org/Puerto Rico for more information. And we will be back with more Kickoff after this.
Fox NFL Kickoff is sponsored by Target. It's time for Black Friday doorbusters at Target. Doors open today at 6 p.m. Target. Expect more, pay less. Since 2015, Fox viewers have won over $10 million on DraftKings.com. Sign up now and make your first deposit using promo code Kickoff, and DraftKings will instantly match up to $10 free. That's promo code Kickoff when you sign up today.
What's up, fans? This is Vic Beasley. I want to take this time out to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you all have a blessed day.
I just want to say happy Thanksgiving. I'm here at the facility right now, but hey, as soon as I get back to the house, I'm going to have some turkey, have some stuffing, have some...
Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey!
Hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. Eat some lot of food, enjoy the time with their families. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Is that a smile?
There's a big smile. There's a lot of reasons to smile. Time now for a special DraftKings fantasy edition of Countdown to Kickoff. And based on today's matchups, a lot of conversation surrounded by the offense. So I need you to give me an offensive duo that you think will have a fantasy splash today. Tony, we'll start with you.
Okay, I'm going to go with Case Keenum and Adam Thielen. That combination has been explosive throughout the whole season. Last week, he took a 7-yard pass, took it to the house for 65 yards. Going against that Lions defense, they're giving up 240 yards through the air. I think this combination is going to be explosive today.
Okay. I'm going to say Golden Tate and Marvin Jones. These are guys who are outside threats, quick and shifty, you know, within the line of scrimmage. These are guys who can really get out there, you know, and make some plays, over 600 yards receiving from the both of them. With Matthew Stafford, this could be a shootout today. We'll see how it goes. But the Minnesota Vikings defense is good against the pass, so it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, with Sean Lee out of that Dallas defense, I'm going with Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon from San Diego. Melvin Gordon's having a great year. We know that he's scoring touches in the air, through the air. He's running him in. He's taking a lot of pressure off of Phillip Rivers. Phillip is kind of rejuvenated. I like those two.
Tough day for Washington. So Jordan Reed, the great tight end's out. I'll replace him with Vernon Davis, who's ageless. And Chris Thompson, the dynamic running back, is out. Samaje Perine, you did his games coach at Oklahoma. Yes. Straight ahead, tough kid, wonderful story. They're going to need those guys to elevate because Chris Thompson is amazing. Yeah, don't miss out.
Yeah, he was their leading receiver and their running back.
Remarkable
so that tells you, what he was doing offensively there. So today is the last day to take advantage of DraftKings' best offer yet. Make your first deposit. They'll instantly match up to $10 free. Tony will too. I'm kidding. He won't do that. There's still time to play. All you have to do is go to DraftKings.com.
Nothing in here anyway. It doesn't matter.
That's why you're working. We're less than 30 minutes away from a special holiday edition of Ford Fox NFL Sunday. We know these guys are about to get to work. Hello, gentlemen. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, guys.
Happy
Thanksgiving to all of you guys. Hey, we just a little inside baseball. We noticed Jay is standing down there on the end. There's not even a light.
I'm kneeling. I'm not standing.
He's just like
I got butter over there. What are you talking about?
He's standing the same side as Jimmy sitting.
Hey, Terry.
You know, Terry, about playing on Thanksgiving Day. You've done that before. You guys, the rest of you, ever play on Thanksgiving?
No, I never did.
Practiced.
Yeah. We always thought it was an advantage because we didn't have to travel. We got all of our work in just in 3 days.
And then you went home and you gorged.
No, I didn't.
How you feeling?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. How's your stomach? You okay?
My stomach's a little queasy today.
Okay.
And it's early. We'll hear more about his stomach a little bit later, plus a special story with Kyle Rudolph, the tight end of the Minnesota Vikings, Matthew Stafford as well. A whole bunch of stuff to talk about in the Thanksgiving edition of Fox NFL Special. We'll see you at the top of the hour.
Thanks so much, you guys. Coming up, the Mannings have their own special holiday traditions. Cooper and Hyde give us all a reason to be thankful when Fox NFL Kickoff returns.
He's plumping his cheeks.
We plan them, we practice them.
Anywhere there's a mirror, man, I'm going to practice my touchdown celebration.
Little game of hide and seek.
Nice, the relay.
They pass the baton. Part of the bobsled team. He might have just put the Eagles to sleep.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Fox NFL Kickoff, presented by IBM. I'm your host, Carissa Thompson. As we just saw, celebrations are back in the NFL. And today, we have a huge matchup in the celebration department. It's the Vikings taking on the Lions.
That's right, Carissa. And the best part about these two teams is that they're doing it for all the kids out there. Let's take a look. It started with the Vikings and their Duck Duck Goose celebration. Kyle Rudolph had some great technique there and really played it smart with picking a lineman. Of course he's going to beat him. Problem is, Stephon Diggs gets too excited that he's getting to play such a fun game and disrupts the party. I'd put him in timeout.
You'd hate to see that. Mike, what's caught your eye?
I'm looking at the Lions, the double rush. I mean, look at Marvin Jones' feet. For my money, those are the fastest feet on any playground in America. A lot of respect to Golden Tate and T.J. Jones for providing the perfect rope swings to help their BFF execute properly.
Coach, something tells me you're going for the Vikings.
That's right, Coach. I'm back on purple Kool-Aid. The Vikings thought they drew it up perfect with leapfrog. But you're telling me Case Keenum throws 4 touchdowns and you don't invite him to play? That's just mean. Everyone should get a turn. As a coach, I'm having to talk with the guys by the Cubbies after this game.
All right, Colin, your turn. Colin? Colin? Colin?
That's great.
We didn't know that was coming, obviously. But I'm just impressed you got the hair length right. We never know what like my hair's going to be. So
He's taking a mustache.
That was funny.
Head, Coach.
Well, there is a reason that Minnesota's Adam Thielen was featured in that great piece. While he may not yet be a household name from his Vikings 8-2 start to the fact that he's the top receiver in the NFC, he has plenty of surprising reasons to celebrate.
Keenum gets rid of it. Thielen makes the move. Adam Thielen off to the races. Touchdown.
Adam Thielen from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, northern Minnesota. Went to a small school, Minnesota State, Mankato. It's 5 years there and went to the Minnesota Vikings and been here for 5 years. Started as an undrafted free agent.
The Cinderella part, we need to start eliminating from Adam Thielen. He is a legitimate big-time receiver in the NFL.
Going back to my childhood, you know, I had a Randy Moss jersey, a Chris Carter jersey. I had a poster in my room. Those are the guys that really made me want to play the game of football. And not only play football, but play receiver. I think of those guys in a whole different world than I am in. I want to emulate my game after them, and I want to have fun playing the game like they did.
Teddy Bridgewater is back and active for the first time since the beginning of last year.
Case Keenum has done a good job despite despite the fact that now Teddy Bridgewater is looming.
From day one, he's been the same guy. If he is on a week-to-week basis, whatever it is, he's just going out there and he loves the game of football. He doesn't really care what people say, and he's going to prepare like nobody else. He knows the game plan, better than most of the coaches. A lot of teams are out there trying to find a starter, and we have 3 guys that have, played a lot of football and won a lot of games. And ultimately, that's all you can ask for as a receiver, is a guy that's just competitive, wants to win. There hasn't been any awkwardness. Teddy's such a great teammate, such a great leader. Even when he was not on the active roster, he was there at every game. It's kind of been unnoticed how important his role has been so far this year in our success.
I was born bold.
I'm thankful for my family, thankful for my wife and my boy. I'm thankful for the opportunities I've been given. This league, it's hard to get those opportunities. It's hard to get a chance, and especially where I came from. Those are just a few of the things that I'm thankful for.
The most thankful, right? He seems like that team-first kind of guy. You heard Aaron's report about him, potentially selling dental equipment. You can have a whole new level of appreciation for playing at such a high level. Yeah. In this case, on Thursdays, but on Sundays. What do you like about his game?
Well, just what a great story. I mean, perseverance and dedication, homegrown guy paying for the home team. You couldn't be happier for a guy like that, and he's played really well. And because of that, though, the adversity that he's been through, he has a chip on his shoulder. So every time he steps on that field, he is ready to go out there and prove what he's capable of. But here's what I want to see. He is becoming a household name. He's becoming a star in the NFL right before our eyes. And how is he going to respond to that? Because now, guess what? That guy who's covering you all week has been eating his bacon and eggs, and he's preparing for you, dreaming about shutting you down. How is he going to respond to being a superstar, having all that attention drawn to him?
Yeah, speaking of attention, Case Keenum has done a nice job of drowning out the noise with all the quarterback sort of controversy there. Has his team in the right position. What is he doing right on the field, Mike?
Well, I would say Case Keenum is officially in the zone right now. It's nothing that you can do to get him out of it. His decision-making, poise, and accuracy has been great. If you take a look at, some of this tape, decision-making, right here, he drops back, looks left off the play action. Then he turns and looks down the middle. There's 3 guys in the middle, can't make the throw. And then he shuffles his feet and makes an outside throw to the right. Good decision-making, great accuracy.
Yeah,
right here, his accuracy is on point. 3-by-1 set, man-to-man covers, drops a dime. Similar to the play that we watched a couple weeks ago with Deshaun Watson. And here, he's in the pocket, under duress, off the play action fake, almost a busted play. He stands tall, doesn't panic.
Tons of pressure.
Yeah. Tons of pressure, and drops a dime to Thielen. So, keep playing like this. He'll play his way into a starting role next year.
Yeah, I'm looking at the guys, it's Thanksgiving, the guys that enjoy the mashed potatoes and the gravy, the offensive linemen. No one talks about these guys. You lose your starting running back, Dalvin Cook. Could be, you lose your starting quarterback. Last year, they were 23rd in the league and giving up sacks. Now they're first. How does all this happen? Real simple to me. 3 of the 5 offensive linemen that are there are playing for the Vikings for the first year. And a lot of teams have these same problems, but I got to give credit to Rick Spielman and George Payton, the personnel people at the Vikings. They went out and solved this problem.
They've only given up 1 sack in the last 5 games. I mean, like you said, all the accolades to the guys on the outside.
And think about this now. I think all of us, the media, maybe the fans, even the GM, hey, we can't wait for Teddy Bridgewater. But at Detroit, at Atlanta, at Carolina, that's Minnesota's next 3. If they win 2 or 3, what do? You can't pull him. No, these locker room psyches are so delicate. Tony, Mike, you've been there. You can't pull a quarterback. You start looking at Case Keenum's numbers, his quarterback ratings, 95, 96. That's better than a guy like a Matt Ryan historically.
Like, I know you went through this in Philly.
I went through the same thing in Philly. I injured my hamstring. Nick Foles stepped in. Yeah. We won 5 in a row. And I just felt like I couldn't come in and kill the morale of the team, and everything that has been built confidence-wise and trust-wise with the team is you just have to take a step back and be a professional.
And don't you guys agree? We all watch the same film. You know what I mean? So if they do lose a game, which they probably will, we all know what happened, right? We're watching the film. A lineman turns somebody loose, and the quarterback hitting the ball goes up in the air. It's not his fault.
Right.
So I don't think there'll be any secrets about this.
No, all right. Well, no secret about this guy, Cooper Manning. We all know Thanksgiving's a time for food, fun, and tolerating your relatives. So let's check back in with Cooper at Casa de Manning. How's it going, Coop?
And you're up. Hello. Just making a little drink for Daddy-O. Ooh,
extra strong and sour, like he likes it. Maybe this one will make him forget about that D in math class. Dad, is he asleep? Dad, we're on live television. Dad.
Hi. That's a little hard. Ooh.
How do you like it?
Those first two knocked me out. This one woke me up. Let's go see what's going on in the kitchen. Mom should be preparing that turkey. Walk with me, boy. Walk with me. Wait, that's not Mom. Holy cow. I think Mom said she was cooking a turkey, Hyde.
I guess you lied to us again.
What is this, guys? What do we got here? This looks better than what Mom would prepare.
A little deep-fried turkey breast. Cooked for about 80 minutes, injected with some butter and blackened and seasoned.
The last time I deep-fried a turkey, Coach Wanstead and I burned down his entire garage. So this looks pretty good. Ooh, guys. Howdy-o. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it is.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Have a great one.
Thanksgiving. Deep fried? Have you ever had deep fried turkey?
Going home to fry my turkey.
Yeah.
Really? I'm not into.
You can tell you're in Oxford, Mississippi.
I'm old-fashioned time.
Have a great Thanksgiving, you guys. Thank you, as always.
Way to do it these days.
Way to start him young there, Coop. Time now for 4 key ingredients brought to you by Bud Light. Colin, Golden Tate is part of a Detroit offense ranked 6th in passing and 5th in total points. How do they fare today against Xavier Rhodes?
He's great after the catch, and he's going to need to be today. They're not going to run the football. Matt Stafford threw 52 times earlier this year in one game, 45 in another. Expect those kind of numbers. I don't think they can run it, Coach, so I think Golden Tate's going to need, after the catch, to make big plays.
All right, Coach, speaking of their Stafford, not had that support. Again, the numbers, not a 100-yard rusher in 62 straight games. Any chance that changes today?
I believe it will. And they got 2 running backs. Abdullah and Reddick are both capable of doing it. You know, they're at the bottom quarter of the league as far as just handing the ball off.
You think against this Minnesota defense, they're going to finally get that 100-yard rusher?
If you don't hand it off, you're not going to get yards. They just got to do it more.
Coach, don't yell at me. Case Keenum has had some decent running from Latavius Murray. And what are you seeing from them?
Fired up. Case Keenum, I think he'll do a great job. He just has to do what he's been doing. Don't change a thing. You know, keep firing all cylinders. A fine feeling. He's the guy.
Okay, and Tony, we talked about Thielen right here, who gets a lot of love, but Stephon Diggs, he can play too.
Yeah, I know what you said there, Mike. Fine Thielen, but I'm telling you, Stephon Diggs, I believe he is the best receiver on this team. He's missed a couple games this year. He's averaging 15 yards a catch. He leads the team in touchdowns. He's got great hands.
Right there.
This is the guy that they complement. Him and Thielen together pose a very dynamic duel for Case Keenum, and it's a big reason why Case Keenum's having all that success right now.
Coach and I are going to still talk about this 100-yard rusher. We're taking a break. More Fox NFL Kickoff right after this.
Don't miss out on an exclusive Thanksgiving offer from DraftKings.com. The clock is ticking. Contests begin at 12:30 Eastern. Remember to use promo code Kickoff when you sign up, and DraftKings will instantly match up to $10 free.
Football Mania will be taking over the state of Michigan this weekend. Today, the Lions and the Vikings battle it out at Ford Field. Then, just about 35 miles down the road, Ohio State and Michigan will face off on Saturday. You can catch both of those games right here on Fox. And Coach is a busy man during football season. Of course, he covers college football. And you are leaving right after this to head to Ann Arbor. How excited are you?
Well, it's going to be a great game. I know it's not Cal Stanford, but it is a rivalry. Big game in the big house, 108,000 people. And you look at Michigan, they're 8-3. A win for Jim Harbaugh would really turn his whole season around and get everybody going in a positive note to the offseason. On the other hand, Ohio State's won the last 5. They're 9-2, and their goal is to get to the playoffs. A loss by Ohio State, they're out.
Yeah, done.
All right, turn our attention back to today's game. Dwight Freeney, much to his surprise, was cut by the Seattle Seahawks. He is now with Detroit. He won't be playing today, but he's reunited with Jim Caldwell. Of course, they had their time in Indy together. So, Tony, I want to look at this game when it all comes down to it after every angle we've covered. Who wins and why?
Well, you know what? I think, obviously, the Vikings, from a player perspective, they have the better players, okay? But I'm looking at the Detroit Lions. This is Matthew Stafford's time. He's got to win this game. All the pieces are there. All the reasons are there for him to go out out there and get this victory. I don't care if he doesn't have a running back or not. He's the best quarterback in this division. So I think he has himself a day. Golden Tate, along with Marvin Jones Jr., those guys get off and they make that Viking defense look like turkeys.
I gotta agree. I agree with Tony. Everything is aligned for the Detroit Lions today. I mean, you're playing on national television. I'm gonna go on to say this is a must-win game for these guys. Matthew Stafford has all the tools that he needs. He has to start fast and finish strong. Find a way to win this game. Don't lose the game.
Yeah, I'm going with Detroit also. I mean, you know, after seeing that special, I mean, the fans, you know, they're going to be the difference today. I really believe that. At home, you know, tough crowd at home. I think that Detroit wins.
What just happened? I'm going to take crazy. The better team. What? The fans aren't. You know what's going to matter? That defense.
Go get that.
So you're going okay, we're about today's action. We can be thankful right now, though, for Fox NFL Sunday.
Yay.
Happy Thanksgiving. We are thankful that we are one big family spending the holiday together. You guys excited for your show?
There's the crazy uncle over there, though. Watch out.
He's that guy. Hey, I'm going to tell you a joke. Hey, I just told Terry this joke. What did the turkey say to the computer? No idea. Google, Google, Google.
How long did you work on that if your 8-year-old telling you that one? It's one of those. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you and to all of you. We've got more football coverage starting now.
In a battle between the felines from the Motor City and the purple people eaters of the North.
There's no telling what this rivalry will bring.
4 times these two have clashed on this day of thanks.
And on their most recent holiday encounter, last-second heroics were needed to proclaim victory. Today, the Lions joined forces in hopes of beating the purple and gold yet again this season.
Will their fearless leader and lightning-quick comrades rise to the challenge?
Touchdown, Detroit Lions!
But the first-place Vikings have a dynamic duo of their own that refuses to be contained.
And a defense, in all their glory, always relentless and dominant.
2 worthy opponents fighting for who will rule the North.
Vikings.
Lions.
It's next, right here on Fox.
Happy Thanksgiving, America. Hey, how thankful are the Vikings for the way Case Keenum has filled in? Signed as a backup and on his 3rd team in 4 years, Keenum has Minnesota in first place in the NFC North and riding a 6-game win streak. Matthew Stafford and the streaking Lions are just a couple of games back of the Vikes, and Captain Clutch is once again a top 5 quarterback in fantasy stats and the real world, and probably the #1 reason why Detroit is right in the thick of the NFC playoff race. Hey, tell your uncle to stop talking politics and watch the best Thanksgiving game of the day. The red-hot Minnesota Vikings looking for their 7th straight win, taking on a Detroit Lions team looking for win number 4 in a row. And this divisional showdown could go a long way in deciding the winner of the NFC North. It is time for football and fun, and we get it cooking with the Built Ford Tough, Fox NFL special pregame show, brought to you by the official truck of the National Football League. Come on in and stay a while, folks. I'm Kurt Menefee. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you, and we are so thankful you allowed us to spend this holiday with you. Also, thank you to the cast of Justice League for starting things off. That movie is in theaters everywhere right now. And a heartfelt happy Thanksgiving to our family here at Fox. Terry, Howie, Michael, Jim. Happy Thanksgiving, boys.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Kurt.
Guys, everybody at home, too.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Tons of millions all around the world, we welcome you into our studio.
Yes.
I guess that's...
Tons of millions.
Tons of millions.
Yeah. Is that the new math?
Wow.
Works for me.
Thank God this show didn't require an SAT exam.
There you go. We are keeping with a tradition that goes back to 1934. The Detroit Lions have hosted a game on Thanksgiving Day since then, and for the 2nd consecutive season, they entertaining division rival Minnesota. Last year's game went down to the final seconds, and with the two teams sporting the best records in the NFC North this year, maybe we'll be just as lucky this time around. Why don't we say hello and happy Thanksgiving to the guys calling the game for us today here on Fox, Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Happy Turkey Day, boys.
And a happy Thanksgiving to you guys back there. Terry, sell it a little better next time. That didn't have any sincerity to it whatsoever. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you. You know, I think sometimes football's on in the background on these Thanksgiving days, and you just kind of check it out when you want, talk to relatives, eat, whatever. This is a really good game between these divisional rivals. I can't wait to watch it unfold.
Should be a lot of fun, and two teams that are playing really great. You've got the Minnesota Vikings, who have won 6 straight, and then, of course, the Detroit Lions, who have won 3 straight. And for the Lions, you've got to believe that if they're going to get back into this divisional race, that this is a game that they have to win. And they've got a chance, as well as Matthew Stafford has been playing. I think he's having really the best year of his career. And once again, he's having to do it without a running game. And you think back to the last time these two teams met, he was sacked 6 times in that game, but he's got his offensive line back intact, and we'll see if they can protect him a little bit better than they did the last time.
Yeah, and he'll be taking on Case Keenum and the Vikings. Going to be a fun one, guys. Kurt, back to you.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good call, guys. You know, Jimmy, you've played in these Thanksgiving Day games. This one has more impact than the normal one because how close the two teams are in the division.
I think the division leader, could, win it today. Of course, they got, a lot of ball left to be played, but this one, between the top two, you got Minnesota with a great defense. You got Detroit. They've beaten Minnesota the last 3 times they played. Detroit's the one that's going to pull it out at the end. Minnesota's going to make very few mistakes. It could be a great ball game today.
Yeah, Stafford, and he plays well on Thanksgiving. And, one of the wins last year versus Minnesota was on Thanksgiving, and Detroit has that home field advantage, and he gets hot, particularly at the end of games, and they lean on him quite a bit versus Case Keenum. Does Case Keenum's hot play continue? It's going to be interesting to see.
Well, the thing about it is Stafford played his best on Thanksgiving. I mean, it's 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, but I think for this team, looking at their schedule, they're not going to play a team the rest of the way to have the winning record. I think the only team that's closest to that, the only team that is close to a winning record is Green Bay, who are 5-5. So if Minnesota falters because their schedule is a little bit tougher, Detroit could sneak in and end up winning this division.
Well, we always seem to be talking about the quarterbacks on this day, and you look at poor Case Keenum, the kid out of the University of Houston, kind of bounced around to a couple of teams, and now he seems to be looking over his shoulder again at a guy that hasn't played almost 2 years in Teddy Bridgewater. But, sometimes you finally get the right spot at the right time, and God just blesses you and puts you there. And I think Zimmer and the Viking family ought to be thankful they got him. I don't think this guy's going to lose his job. He's going to play well today.
I mean, I don't think they look at him as a quarterback of the future, but really, when you watch him every week, he's the quarterback for right now.
I do, though, Mike. Right, I do.
As long as he's winning, he's the quarterback of the future.
You get to be 8-2, 6-2 in games that he has started, really 7-2 in games he's finished, and then they could be 8-1. It goes back to the old inside joke. Sorry about that.
It goes back to that SAT score.
Exactly. It's one of those things. Why don't we go back to Jay Glazer for the first time today? Happy Thanksgiving, Jay.
Good day to you, buddy.
All right. You know what? These guys were talking about Teddy Bridgewater, Case Keenum, and that situation there. Right now, is it Keenum's job to lose?
Yeah, we've been telling you for the last couple of weeks that they've been looking for any reason to go back to Teddy Bridgewater because they look at him like he's the franchise. Remember a couple of weeks ago, you saw Case Keenum throw an interception against the Redskins. They're like, all right, Teddy, let's get your helmet on. So the intent was to go to Teddy Bridgewater, but Case Keenum, the way that he's been playing right now, no, they're waiting for him to play like a backup, to put Teddy in. He hasn't done it, so I think that Case Keenum has really elongated that leash for him to get pulled out, for them to go to Teddy Bridgewater.
All right, this is the first of 3 games on this Thanksgiving. The thing all wraps up tonight with the Giants in Washington. Yeah. New York got that big win on Sunday against the Chiefs. Tell us what's going on behind the scenes with that Giant team.
Well, there's been a lot, but I'm going to go over 2 specific things. One is Ben McAdoo. Last year, everybody loved that he was a player's coach. Well, this year, he's a player's coach again. But when guys started taking advantage, he came in there and he started laying down the law, and they said, whoa, 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 this is not the Ben McAdoo that we know. And they started pushing back against him. The other problem is too much inconsistency from too many players at too many different times. So what McAdoo's done last couple of weeks, he's brought all the players in there to have them watch film together. Usually, you watch film just works with your position groups, but he wants everybody to be accountable. If you mess up on offense, he wants the defensive guys to see it. You mess up on special teams, he wants everybody to see it. And that at least gets players to be able to hold everybody inside that building accountable. And finally, the last game today is the Dallas Cowboys and the Los Angeles Chargers. And a little known story here, people don't know, but Jerry Jones' first attempt to buy a pro football team was actually the San Diego Chargers. And the money people backing him up, check this out, was Jimmy Hoffa and the Teamsters. He had the money trying to buy him all the way back in 1966. Instead, Barron Hilton went with somebody else. But just think about this. Jerry Jones could have been walking the sidelines today for the L.A. Chargers with the backing of Jimmy Hoffa. Insert your own jokes here, guys.
Exactly. I'm going to leave that one alone. We will go to commercial break. We'll be back with you a little bit later on to check in on the injury news for all 3 games today.
It's Thanksgiving Day, and that means football and family. For Vikings tight end Kyle Rudolph, it also means giving back. After his brother Casey overcame a battle with cancer at a young age, Kyle is now helping others. His inspiring story is coming up, and you don't want to miss it. On the field, it's a fight for the NFC North. We'll hear from Matt Stafford, who looks to become the Lion King in this division. And we'll talk to Case Keenum to see how he's able to lead the Vikings with a healthy Teddy Bridgewater waiting in the wings. It's Thanksgiving football, and it's right here on this Built Ford Tough Box NFL special.
How is he, Doc?
I don't know how to say this, but your husband's in a food coma. Worst I've ever seen.
How so?
He's got food on his face. Of course. Mashed potatoes, doused in cream corn, covered in cranberry sauce.
How could you possibly know all of that?
I'm a doctor.
Is there anything I can do?
Well, you can make a plate. Fried turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans if you got them.
Wait, how's that gonna help him?
It's not for him, it's for me. There's a game coming on and your TV is very nice.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I think that's going on in doctors' offices, households, everywhere across the country
Jimmy
today.
in that very position.
Hey, I was in that recliner. I actually played that part.
He had M&M's on his chest.
Oh, this Thanksgiving Day showdown between the Vikings and Lions, which comes up next. Definitely the main course in the NFL today. The side dishes, though, come a little bit later, and that includes down in Dallas, where the Cowboys will host their 50th Thanksgiving Day game, this time against the Chargers. Dallas is struggling without Ezekiel Elliott scoring in single digits in back-to-back games for the first time in 8 years. And the Eagles knocked the stuffing out of them on Sunday night. Meanwhile, the Chargers seem to be heating up, playing on Thanksgiving for the first time since 1969 when they were the San Diego Chargers and an AFL team. Well, the now Los Angeles Chargers have won 4 of their last 6 and find themselves just 2 games behind division-leading Kansas City in the AFC West. They can be thankful to Michael's Giants in part for that. Big Blue pulled a big surprise and beat the Chiefs on Sunday. Now they visit Washington with the Skins trying to stay alive in the NFC wildcard hunt. But let's get back first to the Cowboys and Chargers, Howie. It seems as though the wheels have kind of come off that offense for Dallas the last couple of weeks.
Well, they're built for one thing as a team. You know, the run game sets up their offense, sets up their play action. They're in a lot of second and shorts, third and shorts. Their defense has kind of gotten exposed without Sean Lee because they're on the field too much. Time of possession has gone the other way. I'd expect Dallas today, particularly with Bosa and Ingram on the outside, I'd expect Dallas to just pound the football, pound it all day long, including the read option with Dak Prescott.
Could you stop doing the hand turn? But when you talk about wheels falling off, you have to talk about 2 other teams in that division. You have to talk about the Giants and the Redskins who are playing today as well. And I'm not going to use my hands, Brad Shaw, because I want you to make fun of me. But here are 2 teams that had so much promise at the beginning of the season with injuries. Giants have 16 players on IR. The Washington Redskins have 13 players on IR. The most explosive players, Odell Beckham Jr. You have Chris Thompson, who just was put on IR last week. But these are 2 teams that are just trying to salvage something this season. And I think for the Giants, that honest talk Jay Glazer talked about earlier in the show, that really helped them last week, upset Kansas City. But today is just a battle just to see who can survive.
You think you still think that Ben McAdoo's going to get fired?
I didn't say that.
Oh, you didn't? Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fire people on Thanksgiving. Have a heart.
Oh, this guy will fire you.
Anyway, that's one of the great rivalries in the NFL, the Giants and Redskins. It's one of those, don't matter what the records are, throw all the cliches out the window. A great one in college football happens on Saturday, right here on Fox, Ohio State and Michigan. At the Big House, you can see the set being prepared for our pregame crew who will be there in less than 48 hours to start our coverage. It's a classic matchup going, Jimmy, all the way back to 1897.
Huge, huge.
There's a state line in the Midwest that divides two religions of football diehards. A disdain so deeply rooted, only those who live it can understand, yet not explain. But it's more complicated than hate. And if your family allegiance is split, that's no longer your family. It's a complete disregard of each other's existence until every third Saturday of November. A rivalry with 365 days of bragging rights, rooted in history, tradition, and utter disrespect. Ask anyone. In this rivalry, a chance to play spoiler is more satisfying than any trophy. This is the only game that matters. Welcome to the Big House. Ohio State versus Michigan.
Terry, as I was saying, huge rivalry. Bo versus Woody, Meyer versus Harbaugh. You know, you look at this, it's a great rivalry, but Ohio State's won 12 out of the last 13. Now, bunch of rumors going around about Jim Harbaugh. Is he going to the Colts?
Who started those rumors?
I think his agent.
There you go.
Either going to the Colts, going to Chicago, and so now they're talking about Michigan giving him a lifetime contract.
What does that mean?
Yeah,
that means if you don't beat Ohio State, your life is over. You got to beat Ohio State. Big rivalry.
I'll tell you, the lifetime contract, not in this lifetime. I can promise you that. Harbaugh I like, and he's not going to the NFL. I just don't think that's his match. He's right where he should be, but he needs to get it. Come here.
What?
He needs to get him a quarterback.
Yep.
I'm surprised he hasn't found a quarterback as good as this guy can recruit.
He's got
a running back, got a defense, got a great offensive line. He does not have the quarterback.
If we offer you a lifetime contract to stay here, would you?
My life, oh, please, it's Thanksgiving.
Let me give you That's a big game. It comes your way Saturday right here on Fox, Ohio State and Michigan. When we come back, we'll get back to the National Football League. And up next, the Vikings, Kyle Rudolph, and a really touching story about helping others this holiday season. Plus, we'll hear from Matthew Stafford and Case Keenum, who lets us know if he's uncomfortable with Bridgewater over his shoulder.
This is the circle of trust here, right, guys? Anybody else in here?
Watch live, local, and primetime games with NFL Local, only on Verizon.
Well, throughout the year, countless NFL players help out their local communities, and we really get to focus in on it during the week of Thanksgiving. And that includes Arizona six-time Pro Bowler Patrick Peterson, who gives away Thanksgiving turkeys and the side dishes.
It means the world to me to be able to give back, especially this time of the year. I always promised myself when I was able to be on this platform that I am on today, I want to help as many people as I can and give them a better outlook on life.
And just like Peterson, Kyle Rudolph knows how important it is to give back. And for Minnesota's Pro Bowl tight end, his act of kindness is more than random, it's personal.
Cancer is something that doesn't discriminate.
Can we get a picture with you?
Absolutely.
Awesome, thank you.
There's no race, creed, or color that determines that you get cancer or not.
How are you? I sure can.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. What's your name?
You know, my family was something we had to deal with. My brother, who's 15 months younger than me, was born with neuroblastoma, a tumor that affects your adrenal glands.
Kyle, his birth weight was very large. So with Casey, they said, we'll schedule a C-section for him if he's going to be as large as your first child. Within an hour, he wasn't breathing because the tumor started pressing on his abdomen, but we had no clue what was going on, neither did the doctors. So they rushed him over to the Children's Hospital by ambulance. They proceeded to tell us that Casey had neuroblastoma. So Casey was an hour old when they figured it all out. 2 weeks old when they took out the tumor, 4 months old when they started chemotherapy.
It was a little shocking to get that news, but luckily we had good family and everybody was pulling for him.
My name's Casey Rudolph. I'm Kyle's brother. I'm 26 years old. And I've been cancer-free since I was 14 months. I spent the whole first year pretty much in the hospital. My immune system was so weak that anybody that came around me, anybody that came near me, had to, wear a mask, had to be sterile, had to have gloves on.
I couldn't be anywhere near my brother. His immune system was extremely depleted, battling the cancer. My parents had enough stuff to worry about taking care of my brother. They didn't want to worry about keeping an eye on me the entire time as well.
Kyle, being so little, he wanted to play. So there was no place for him to go because you can't come into a hospital room. So that first year was pretty much, we just separated them. And that was the whole idea behind Kyle Rudolph's End Zone.
The End Zone idea came about, when I was actually in the St. Paul Children's Hospital. They opened a Child Life Zone. I was there for the grand opening. Got to see what things they were doing. That's kind of where the idea started. And then I coupled that with my experiences, my stories. It's awesome. As well as getting information from a lot of the kids and patients in the hospital to, what is the hospital missing? What do you guys need?
Like Thanksgiving, I guarantee you there's so many kids in that hospital that won't see their siblings and see even their dad or their mom because they're isolated up there.
Our dream is that kids of all ages will be able to take time away from why they're really there, to escape the fact that they're fighting, some of them, for their lives. We hope that this space is a place where little kids, teenagers, can go and they can all be entertained and all find something that they look forward to doing. How old are you? 13. 13, awesome.
It's exciting to see him go up there and put a couple smiles on some kids that I know are battling and their families battling, and we pray for all those people every day, and we want them to get better, and sometimes laughter is the best medicine.
This is the best. He's not just a football player. Those guys, they're good guys, and they do a lot of good things that you don't hear about. Not just Kyle, but he gets teammates, and they all come up and support him, and when he has any event at all he's got to do is call those guys and ask him, and they're there. With Kyle, everybody talks, he's a great football player. The best compliment is that he's a better person, and that's really what means the most.
To see everything come to fruition and see us all come full circle has just been a true blessing. I'm truly just proud of him, of what he's done and what he has accomplished.
I think once the space opens, it'll be an opportunity for our family to kind of leave our mark here on the Twin Cities community, which, is home for us now. And if these kids are looking forward to spending time in our end zone and not thinking about the real reason why they're in the hospital, then I think our dreams will have come true with the space.
It shows you the power of being able to use your platform for good when you get the attention that NFL players do. Kyle Rudolph's End Zone at the University of Minnesota Masonic Children's Hospital will be officially unveiled on December 19th.
And it's amazing to see that piece and see how proud his parents are. He's taken something that he struggled with as a child with his brother, and he's used it to help other people. And Thanksgiving is about love. It's about family, and that's a great example of that. And we pointed out on Thanksgiving, but this is something that guys do every day.
Yep.
Every day, during everything. The guys,
doesn't make the headlines. Doesn't make the headlines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him and on the center open up in December.
Amen to that, brother. All right, when we come back, we'll talk football on the field. In fact, Jay Glazer will let us know if Detroit's Pro Bowl defensive end Ziggy Ansah will be on the field, healthy and ready to go. Aaron Andrews covers Case Keenum and the Vikings, and Terry will tell us if Minnesota's quarterback should keep the starting job. We'll hear from the Lions' Matthew Stafford in just a few moments as well, and will Latavius Murray and the Vikings exploit a Detroit defense that's been suspect against the run lately? Hey, don't you run anywhere, because the Lions are looking to slay the Vikings in a huge game that could help decide the NFC North. Today's Screen Pass starts off the 3 games on the NFL slate this Thanksgiving Day, which, of course, is that NFC North showdown between the red-hot Vikings and the beginning-to-boil Lions. It seems like every week Case Keenum has to prove he should keep his job over Teddy Bridgewater. Terry, if Keenum wins again today and plays well, should Minnesota just announce he's the starter for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I'm looking at him as the starter for the rest of the year, and you're absolutely right. He's played, he deserves it.
Well, Keenum has been sacked only once in the last 5 games total. The Vikings have given up a league-low 10 sacks all season long. Michael, how about a little bit of love for that GM up there, Rick Spielman, who redid this offensive line from last season?
He did a great job. Kurt, the center, Pat Elflein, 3rd round out of Ohio State. The other 4 guys were free agents. Rick Spielman, brilliant. Yes, brilliant.
Not often you change 5 guys and have it work out. Hey, as for Matthew Stafford and the Lions, they're knocking on the playoff door, despite the fact their rushing attack is ranked just 28th in the 32-team league, and his defense 23rd. Make no mistake, one huge reason why Detroit has won 3 straight is because the highest-paid player in the history of the NFL has been money when it counts.
Stafford has carried this franchise.
Stafford is part of the solution.
He's talented. He's got a great arm.
Detroit Lions are winning on the back of Matt Stafford right now.
You know, we're kind of hitting our stride at the right time. Hopefully we can keep it rolling. We're getting healthy. Some guys are coming back and really making a big impact for us. And like I said, just, you know, in this league, it comes down to making plays, and guys around me are making a bunch of plays.
Touchdown Lions! How about Golden Tate? Marvin Jones, oh, what a catch!
How much fun is he having with all these weapons?
You look at the teams that are really successful in this league, the majority of them have done a good job of staying healthy and building that rapport, and that's so important day to day, game to game in this league. You got to try and stay as healthy as you can and keep those guys out there and build that trust, and those turn into big plays and big opportunities for your team.
A big battle in the NFC North. The 2 teams coming in off wins. This is a big one for the Detroit Lions.
I love playing on Thanksgiving. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, grew up watching the Cowboys every Thanksgiving, and in turn the Lions. So being able to be a part of this tradition has been a whole bunch of fun. I know the turkey tastes a whole lot better when you win. You know everybody in America is watching you. You know everybody's families are together, sitting around a table, enjoying some food and some football, and it's cool to be a part of it.
Minnesota's just really good.
The Vikings are for real.
Minnesota's a big-time division opponent, man. They're extremely tough. They're really high level this year, and, you know, their defense is as good as it gets. Big, fast, and physical, and they're coached by a great coach. Their scheme is really good, too. Every time we play them, we know it's going to be a battle, and this one will be no different.
Well, I think for the first time in Stafford's career, he finally has a full complement of players. He's got Lang back at guard. He's got Wagner back at right tackle. Decker's at left tackle. His wide receivers with Jones and Galloway, the young rookie receiver. He's playing great. Golden Tate's playing great. If they've got one flaw in their offense, it's the Ebron at tight end, a guy that they drafted #1 who has not played well, drops a lot of passes. But this is a team that can continue to go and play at a high level. If it gets down to the 4th quarter, don't forget Matt Prater, their kicker, has kicked 10 winning or tie field goals to send things into overtime. Never missed a one of them. He is money. I know what you're doing, Michael.
Game winning or I didn't do anything.
I was trying to get it out.
You're looking for it.
And Howie's laughing. You know, I don't have to put up with this. I am independently wealthy.
Well, hey, I'll take over from here.
Yeah, you go ahead.
You've already tied it up about 3 times.
Yeah.
You know, I used to tell my scouts, I said, listen, I'm looking for the player that he wants to make that 8-foot putt. He wants the ball at the buzzer, the clutch guy. That's Matthew Stafford. You know, this is the big stage. This is what he likes. You know, you look at the last 3 times they've beaten the Vikings, it's been with no time on the clock or overtime. You know, he looked for this moment. He is clutch. And he's good on Thanksgiving, Michael.
And he's great on Thanksgiving, Jimmy. But, you know, the thing also defensively, they just have not been that strong. With Ziggy Ansah, I think he's playing. Hopefully he's playing today because they're going to need him for the pass rush. But one thing they didn't have to worry about last week against Chicago, they didn't have to worry about the deep ball. We're going to have to worry about the deep ball today against the Vikings. And they also, last 2 games, they've given up over 200 yards rushing in each of those games. Vikings last week found a good rushing attack with Murray, and they're going to have to be ready for that today as well.
They rely a lot lot on two things. One, it's the dynamic play on defense, giving up a lot of yards, you mentioned, in the run game. Their inability to get to the quarterback. Ziggy Ansah is a big key to getting that back. I think they miss Haloti Ngata. But it's the five returns for touchdowns on defense by 5 different players. And it's Stafford. They're leaning on those two things. And is that a formula for success? I'm not sure. Their inability to run the football, and yeah, they get their offensive line back. This Minnesota group up front is really talented, and they're very complex. But Matthew Stafford has figured the puzzle out at the end of the game versus Minnesota time and time again. Will he do it again today?
And don't forget, the Lions did beat them in week 4, and it was Amir Abdullah, their running back, that got almost 100 yards rushing. Did I talk about Prater at all? Did I?
Yeah, you did. He ties things up for something.
10 things that tied up something. He's money.
He lost me.
That's what I got.
Believe it or not, we got more to talk about, including Aaron Andrews and Case Keenum. But first, why don't we listen in at the stadium where Everson Griffin is having a Pro Bowl season and a new baby?
I want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving. I just had my baby today. You know what I'm saying? That but my boy CJ Ham, Jeremiah Sherrills, Emmanuel. GDG, baby. You know, GDG, baby. But I just had my baby today on Thanksgiving Day. My boy, Latavius. You know, that's what we're going to get down. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We about to go get this W all day, every day.
How about him giving a shout out to all the players and his new baby?
Yeah, and it's exciting for Everson. I know he just had the baby, but his wife, Tiffany, congratulations to her. She had something to do with it, and born on Thanksgiving. How great is that? And he's playing on Thanksgiving. It's an NFC North baby.
There you go. It's a Thanksgiving miracle.
Yes.
We'll talk more about the Vikings and Lions. And gets you ready for kickoff. There he is. Still going.
I want to talk about their kicker, Prater.
Case Keenum, way better than people thought.
Case is playing the best football of his career.
They're a damn good football team. It was a 6th straight game. How do you not sense what he's given this offense?
Well, the last time the Vikings lost a game was about 2 months ago when the Lions beat them up in Minnesota. That's old news. If you don't think we bring you up to the second information, let's get it out to Detroit, where Aaron Andrews is standing there. They're setting up the field behind her for pregame, and she's got scoopage on Everson Griffin's new baby.
Yeah, Everson was just walking off the field here as I was getting set to talk to you guys, and he screamed, "Hey, EA, I just had a baby." I said, "That's awesome. What's the baby's name?" He said he has no idea, and I said, "Well, how big is the baby?" No idea, because he's here in Detroit. He said they're going to figure the baby's name out when he gets home to his gorgeous wife, Tiffany. Congratulations to the Griffin family. Happy Thanksgiving to them. Now to the Vikings. They've won 6 straight, riding the hot hand of who else? Quarterback Case Keenum. You know, this journeyman has bounced around all over the league, but he's having one of the best seasons of his career, and he's doing it while franchise quarterback Teddy Bridgewater is waiting in the wings.
Quite a ride. Bounced around a little bit. Went back and forth from the Rams to the Texans, back to the Rams, and then moved to LA. Got a starting job, and now here with the Minnesota Vikings, and absolutely loving it. This season has definitely had, some interesting storylines.
This front office wants to play Teddy Bridgewater.
I really try to compartmentalize it and not think about it. But when I'm on the field, I'm playing football. I know these chances don't come along very often. I know that there's only 32 guys every Sunday that get to start at quarterback. So, I don't take it lightly.
Case Keenum just shot a dagger right through the heart of his former team.
The story kind of continues. What's happening with Teddy, what's happening with the team.
Now he's going to be looking over his shoulder at the guy everybody loves.
Time after time and time after time, I've had to prove myself. And, it's kind of hardened me. It's made me into who I am. I don't know if if I have a chip on my shoulder, but I sure do like proving, people right that have believed in me a whole lot more than it feels good to prove people wrong. I've got nothing to lose. I wake up every day, and everything I do is to put this team in the best possible situation to win.
The way the Case is playing, there's no need to make a change right now.
With Thanksgiving here, what do I have not to be thankful about? My wife who loves me, is my best friend. My family, they get to come and watch me play. I always believe that, you always got to remember where you came from, but really appreciate where you are. And I'll never forget, all the family members, friends, coaches that have believed in me throughout my journey.
How could you not root for a guy like this, especially when he gives a shout out like that to his wife? Look, we don't know if and when Teddy Bridgewater is going to return, but Case Keenum telling us this week he's going to continue to savor this whole thing and continue to have fun. Terry, I know there are a lot of retired quarterbacks that are gunning for your cushy, fabulous job sitting next to Jimmy, Terry, or sitting next to Howie, Jimmy, and Stray. But let me ask you, when you played back in the day, did you ever have to look over your shoulder?
My name is Joe Backer. I had to look, thank you, Aaron. I had to look over my shoulder my rookie year especially. Then after that, I was benched out, no looking, just God, get me out of here, basically. But I wouldn't know what it's like being the first pick in the draft. And the guy, if you look at Case Keenum, he wasn't even drafted. We have 7 rounds in the draft, and he came out of the University of Houston, shattering all the records, passing records there, and nobody took a shot at him. Nobody wanted him, so Houston Texans signed him at 6'1", 215, and out of Abilene, Texas. You would have thought someone did. So maybe the chip on his shoulder is the fact that nobody ever wanted him. He's been bounced around to 3 teams, and now he gets to where nobody wants him again, and yet he is setting records in Minneapolis. Sam Bradford goes down. Teddy Bridgewater's ready to play, and I don't see why not. Why not Case Keenum? I agree. I think it's his job, and I think he's earned it, and quite honestly, I think he'll keep it.
Where's Case Keenum from?
Abilene, Texas. Okay. What did I say?
I believe.
You know what, Mike?
I'm just saying.
It's a fascinating conversation. Here's this guy. He's red hot. This team is red hot. The great record. They're in the driver's seat in the division, potentially for the home field advantage in the NFC. And all people are doing is talking about when will Teddy Bridgewater take over the job. Mike Zimmer's. You got to love Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer doesn't have any nuance. It's all right at you. If you don't want the answer to a question, don't ask him the question, because he's going to give it to you. And, a couple of weeks ago, he said he made a couple of throws that were off reservation. This past week, he said, listen, it's going to be hard to yank him now. That's not exactly a ringing endorsement, or that he's playing with a horseshoe. The big thing with this team is its style, their offensive line, the run game, the defense. If Case Keenum continues to play the way he plays and doesn't have those throws where you go, oh, no, he won't get pulled.
He had back-to-back interceptions against the Redskins after throwing 4 touchdown passes. And that's where that comment came from. Stuff happens.
Yeah, but how we talked about all these teams with this great identity now. You look at the way the Saints are playing, look at the way the Eagles are playing, look at the way Minnesota's been playing, offensive lines, defensive lines. They have set the tone for these teams. They're able to run the ball when they need to take pressure off of the quarterback. And that's been the case in Minnesota. And they've kept him clean. He hasn't been sacked in 6 games. That's a franchise record. 6 straight games without a sack. People don't understand how hard that is to do. Offensive line has been outstanding, and they played great run defense. They shut down the Rams, who won the highest scoring offense in the league last week after giving up a touchdown on the first drive. So this is a team I feel is built to go deep in the playoff. This isn't a flash in the pan. Case Keenum or not, he's playing really well, and they're one of the teams that's fortunate to have another quarterback in case their starter falters.
Kind of following up with what you said, success in the NFL is not who makes the most great plays. It's who makes the fewest bad plays. And losing all those good players, they keep getting better. You look at it, you look at the deal. Sacks, they're tied for first. Drop passes, tied for 6th. Penalties, tied for 3rd. Giveaways, tied for 6th. They're one of the better teams in the league as far as not making mistakes. This is a well-coached football team.
And that's the pressure Case Keenum's under. With someone, he has to look over his shoulder. He can't go off, to quote Mike Zimmer, reservation on his throws.
You know, the other thing is just one point about him and Bridgewater, and not ready to crown Minnesota just yet. But the reason this thing works is you see a little bit there. Case Keenum is a guy everybody likes. Teddy Bridgewater is a guy everybody loves.
You want to play for him.
Right, but there's no, hey, this guy's trying to stab me in the back. He's trying to take my job. They realize there's a bigger picture involved, and they're both guys that their teammates and their coaching staff, everybody roots for.
They loved him with the Rams.
Yes. Yeah. You know what? I can't wait for this game. I still think that this division is not done just yet. 6 teams playing today. Who's in and who's out for each? Jimmy.
I mean, Jay, how about Jay? Jimmy or Jay? What's going on? I can't tell you that. Oh, my God.
I figured they had all those notes over there.
Hey, somebody's thinking about that turkey already, Kurt.
I'm not thankful for you, Kurt, but Jimmy, I am for you. All right, you guys are talking about the offensive line for the Minnesota Vikings. Well, they're going to actually have to play against Ziggy Ansah today from the Detroit Lions. He's been banged up the last couple of weeks. You see him here getting warmed up. He is a huge boost to that Lions pass rush. Also, the Lions this week, they signed Dwight Freeney off waivers from the Seattle Seahawks. However, he is not in today. Deactivated, so you have to wait a little bit more to see Freeney with the Lions. Later on, the Cowboys, huge boost for them. They get Tyron Smith back. Barring some late, unforeseen setback, he is expected to start for Dallas to protect Dak Prescott's blind side. Also in that game, 2 receivers for the Chargers, Travis Benjamin and Mike Williams, have been banged up all week. They're very optimistic these guys will both be able to play after pregame warm-ups. Finally, for the New York Giants, Sterling Shepard, they know he's not going to play at all. Yesterday, he woke up feeling a little bit better from the migraine, so there's a little slight possibility, but still a game-time decision. And Vernon and Snacks Harrison, both those guys are expected to go for the Giants later tonight.
Thank you, Jay. All right. Football on Thanksgiving is a collective experience for families all across the country. And the games often produce plays we remember for decades. That's why Rob Riggle put together this musical tribute to his favorite hip-hop artist, Kendrick Lamar, celebrating the greatest Thanksgiving football moments of all time. One in particular.
Thanksgiving Day TV. Footballers play for me. Yeah. Hey, tomorrow I'll be eating turkey sandwiches. That's what tradition is, but that's the future. Let's reminisce about Thanksgiving plays previous. Like Tomlin, sideline stalking, then not talking. He pled ignorance. Or when Clint Longley fielding strongly. Remind me who that is. So, fam, let's gather round, eating good grub. Hope today's games give us moments that we all love. Like when Leon Lett did forget about the end zone. Or when the bus made a fuss. I call tails, bro. Vikings to my liking in the first game pick. Prescott, I take him in the second slot pick. McAdoo so greasy, choice is easy pick. I just wanna see something real sick. Like this pick 6 from LT. So many classic plays paired with poetry. But from NYC, one sticks out in my memory. It's the oh no that we all know. Yep. Butt fumble, Mark Sanchez fell down, set hut height. Butt fumble, Mark Sanchez fell down, set hut height. Butt fumble. Yep. Remember where you were when that football hit that butt. Man, oh man, when I saw that, I bust a gut. My aunt saw that, said, man, that ain't right. Holiday play, I'm loving my whole life. Ay, play was way too crazy. Ay, how it does amaze me. Ay, laughs, burst appendix. Ay, humbled Mark like Kendricks. Ay, a play called No One Speaks. Ay, turnover between 2 cheeks. Ay, it rules is what I'm saying. Ay, forget who the Jets were playing. Ay, it's my favorite play ever on Thanksgiving football. Will forever be the greatest of them all. Yep. Butt fumble. Mark Sanchez fell down. Set hut height. Butt fumble. Mark Sanchez fell down. Set hut height. Butt fumble. Mark Sanchez fell down. Butt fumble. Mark Sanchez fell down. Set hut height. Butt fumble. Mark Sanchez fell down. Set hut height. Butt fumble. Mark Sanchez fell down.
Happy Thanksgiving, Jim Bob Cooter, and everybody else with a less funny name.
All right, I'm going to take Minnesota, the Chargers, and Washington.
I'm going Vikings, Cowboys, and Washington.
Minnesota, LA Chargers. Oh, I'm last
You're
place.
last place. Okay, I'm going to go Minnesota, Dallas, and Washington.
I'm just so fired up. Minnesota, LA, and New York. I should get points for Giants winning last week.
Riggle, that was a great piece.
That was great.
That was very funny. All right, when we come back, kickoff of the Vikings and Lions comes your way in just a bit. We thank you for spending this Thanksgiving with the Built Ford Tough Box at NFL pregame.